it work?
Yeah.
So, good morning. Okay, so let's try to get my presentation. I do have PowerPoints. I won't focus on regulation. I will try to a little bit more to spend time on putting in context this discussion that we will have during the panel, giving you some figures about how mobile money is developing in the countries where there has been already an uptake of these services. So, context. Let's start with the problem. The problem is that there are many people around the world that don't have access to formal financial services. And we will see that this has a cost for these people and also for many stakeholders. There are many countries all over the world where the access to formal financial services is even lower than 5% of the population. Big countries like Congo have 3% of the people who have bank accounts. Not even all the people who are the staff of the central bank trust enough the banking system to put the money in the banking system. And like Congo, there's like the Democratic Republic of Congo, there are so many other countries. There is Sudan, Nigeria, Bangladesh. There are enormous barriers that are keeping people away from entering the formal financial sector. If we look at this from some regional figures, we see that access to formal financial services in the OECD economies, it's almost to 90% of the population. So probably everyone in this room has a bank account, a credit card, some type of formal financial services. If we move to the developing world, this figure drops and goes below 40%, with some dramatic situations in sub-Saharan Africa, and particularly in North Africa and the Middle East, where less than 20% of the population has access to financial services. The figures before from the World Bank were reflecting the situation of access to bank accounts in particular, so savings accounts, deposit accounts. If you look at payment systems, the situation is even worse. There are more and more and more people who are excluded from any form of formal transfer or payment. And this has a big cost for them. So I wanted to ask you to guess what this figure is about, but I think both Charles and David have referred to it. 2.5 billion is the number of people who don't have access to the formal financial system today, because of many problems. Geographical barriers, cultural barriers, products that are not designed for them. I don't want to sit on the chair. I don't want to have a payment service or a bank account that really doesn't fit my needs, where I have very small volumes, small values to transact, for example, or to put in a saving account. And there are problems, particularly with the LAC ID, that are very relevant in many countries, because people who cannot be identified have challenges to access these services. But everyone is using financial services, not in a formal way, not in a formal system, but in the semi-formal sector and in the informal sector. There are pretty much everybody in the world is finding a way, all the households are finding a way to manage their money, their savings, and to access to forms of credits or insurance. There is a fantastic book that has been published by some researchers. It's the Portfolios of the Poor is the title. And this book condensed 4 or 5 years of research doing financial diaries in 3 developing countries. And what they found, they really show how households in developing economies, even if they don't have access to formal financial services, are managing their portfolio. Borrowing money for friends, asking the employer to keep the money so that they don't have to deposit, to save it to store it in their household. Using different forms for credit saving payments. Particularly, in many countries they use buses to make internal remittances. This is a big cost, and it's risky, it's not convenient. It's a cost for them, but it's a cost also for the society. So what the World Bank has seen through their research is that financial exclusion has a big correlation with inequality and with low development of some communities. And at the end, what we can say is really that cash is an enemy. Cash is inefficient. The cash economy for so many of these households creates some challenges that the formal financial services might help them to face. There are some colleagues here from a new program that has been launched thanks to also to the Gates Foundation, which is called Better Than Cash. They're really working to try to